I call the shots, I never call it quits. Trust my intuition, bet it's right and bitch, it often is. Seen too many others come and go, they had the wrong intent. Do it out of love and never for it, then I watch it get bigger than expected. Don't second guess it, I let it set it. It's God's plan, we out here only accepting blessings. I'm stuck with it, this mindset is terminal. In and out different terminals, leveling up is personal. And I already made it, y'all can miss me. It's hard to believe I made something from nothing. No hindsight discussions, I've been writing, I love it.
Welcome to the 3 Gig Sports Podcast, where we are never wrong, just sometimes misinformed. This is Danny G, sitting alongside Rio and Jimmer today. And shit, we had some good games of football today, man. 2 games going into overtime. 1 game where a team lost early that totally flipped some playoff chances for different teams.
Oh, yeah.
Hell of a day. So we've got some good shit to talk about, man. I'm excited.
I told you it'd be all kinds of football games. You said it'd be like 2.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'll give you credit for
all
that.
Kinds.
But then there was another piece that you were misinformed on that we'll talk about in a little bit.
That
too.
we will talk about.
Yeah. You know, things happen.
And the best part was his own idea.
I know.
Absolutely.
It was.
Absolutely.
That's definitely how it works. Well, as we kick her off, we're going to talk through these games, go over what the playoffs are going to look like at this point. But, yeah, per the usual, what's going on out there, Jimmer?
Jackson State coach Deion Sanders added another ESPN 300 prospect to the 2022 class on Saturday with wide receiver Kevin Coleman, who is the 58th overall prospect. They already landed the number 2 overall prospect and cornerback Travis Hunter on signing day.
Yeah, man. You already had enough swag just having him as the coach. Now you see that he's winning as well. It's just going to keep coming, man.
Mm-hmm.
This team's going to be a force.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what he does with some of these athletes that come in, because that cornerback, he was balling out wide receiver as well as corner. So I'm wondering if he's going to get a little playing time on the offensive side of the ball and just trying to get a little, star power on both sides.
He just ripped them away from – so for instance, like suspected, both of these prospects, huge offers from the big boys, the big boys. Any one of them you can think of, they had them all. And you're plucking just a little bit from each one. You seen his son one that you can see that one happening.
Yeah.
And that one did happen, of course, but you start actually legitimately pulling these guys. I was surprised by the wide receiver a little bit. The corner is like, hold on, I get to go learn from Deion Sanders, arguably the best corner of all time. Like that one, it's a little surprising, but it wasn't that surprising. Wide receiver though,
yeah.
Iowa can't get one, though. North Carolina has hired former Iowa State and Auburn football coach Gene Chizik as assistant head coach for defense.
Assistant to the regional man.
Absolutely.
Assistant, Office fans.
Hold on. Assistant to the assistant.
Yeah.
To the regional manager. For sure. I didn't know it was he had coached with them before, like 2016-17. He had turned that defense around then. He also coached with Mac Brown in the Texas days in like 2004 through 6, somewhere in that ballpark. So not too big of a surprise, but a little surprise that. So I think the other one that came in was Indiana's defensive coordinator, if I remember reading it right. Just piling in guys to try to work with each other, and I don't know.
Yeah. That's what it sounds like Texas is doing. I seen they brought in Gary Patterson. They kind of chit-chatted. It wasn't for defensive coordinator. He'd be an assistant of some sort on the defensive side of the ball.
It's so crazy. They already pay these guys, whether you're an assistant type coach or not, so much money that you can add another. You know what I mean? Like, It doesn't make sense as it is, but there's just so much money floating around in college, man.
Oh, yeah.
Shit.
Following a hearing, University of Hawaii Board of Regents plans to address morale issue within Todd Graham's football program. Evidently, he was being too mean and yelling at some players or something like that. There's like 14 within a week that jumped into the transfer portal and also filed complaints at the same time. what I have read so far is that it isn't just the football program, though. They marked it as a football program, but they're having all kinds of issues through all. There's complaints through all of them: volleyball, basketball, men's and women's. All of it's coming across like that, I guess. But the weird thing about this particular one, this hearing, was he had a boatload of support from players that are still there, saying that isn't how it went and that they support this coach, and that he hasn't been like that. If he has fired, he's been fiery with everybody. It's part of coaching.
Yeah.
So, but they didn't let that evidence come into this hearing either, is what they marked.
I don't know how all that went down, but I feel like if I'm in a sport in Hawaii, I'm probably not going to complain too much about anything, right?
Yeah, you're in one of the, the weather's going to be never bad. Yeah, just a good time for the most part.
Right.
It's crazy to think.
You could have just went in the transfer portal. You didn't have to try to throw somebody in. Like, if you wanted to move on for whatever reason.
Yeah, it's so easy now. Why not
It's
do
so
that?
easy. You just jump in and go.
Yeah.
Isn't that how
Right.
it goes? I don't know. North Dakota State football continues rolling in the FCS, winning its 9th championship in 11 seasons with a 38-10 win over Montana State.
Yep, just another, win for them.
By the way, quick, they have never lost when they've traveled down there to play in the championship. I guess it's played in the soccer stadium in Texas.
Yeah.
So they're undefeated going there too.
Crazy. Yeah, man, good for them. They usually, I think they play Iowa usually, or Iowa State, all right. You and I don't know. They usually play. One of the Iowa teams they usually play. It seems like every year, and they do really well against them.
Iowa wants no part of that.
So I do remember when they played them once.
Carson Wentz,
Yep.
old stomping ground. Kind of world-breaking one here. Genevieve Beacom made history Friday night when she took the mound for the Melbourne Aces, becoming the first woman, female, to partake in a professional baseball game in the Australian Baseball League. The 17-year-old left-hander Beacom threw a scoreless 6th inning for the Aces in its Melbourne Challenge Series game against the Adelaide Giants, showing an impressive fastball curveball mix. I watched a little bit of the video. I couldn't tell. It was like, as in the throwing.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
That cheese deserved to be there. That's all. First off, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm really surprised they haven't tried to make some sort of either softball league or something for females here in the United States, because how big softball is. If you don't know, they play in college, and then it's try to make the Olympic team, the USA team, and obviously limited spots. But girls softball is just big everywhere, right? So really surprised they haven't tried something like that. Maybe something hopefully they do in the future. And I don't know if moving to baseball, would be a big baseball for women, would be a big move for them. But just in general, even softball or some kind of league.
I'd watch.
It's one
of my favorite all-time movies.
So.
A League of Their Own.
Yeah. It'd be
Gina
tough.
Davis.
Like, women going into baseball specifically is such a tougher route because you don't have like women's baseball, right? It's softball specifically. So you're, you know what I mean? When it comes to women playing basketball, they've got basketball. It matches up. They've,
So you're climbing
like
a ladder that
an even bigger
isn't really
ladder.
there unless you make, for whatever, if you're able to, make the college baseball team.
Yeah, so it's fucking awesome. That's really cool to see. It always starts with, kind of a small step like that. And then sooner than later, we'll start seeing more and more, which is great.
Yeah. The Splash Brothers are back.
Let's go.
What's up?
The Warriors guard Klay Thompson announced Saturday he will make his long-anticipated return on Sunday against the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Tonight.
Yep. And I guess a bunch of the Warriors are rocking Thompson jerseys, who is by far the better player of the two. So
Who? That Wiseman?
between him and Curry.
Get out of here.
What do you mean? I said the way better player. I said the way better shooter.
Get
He
outta
is a
here.
way better player than
Nah.
that.
Man,
Yeah, he plays defense. Curry don't.
Yikes.
tough.
Hey, facts are facts.
Tough crowd here. I don't know
Yeah.
about facts are facts. You can't really say that.
What do you
I
mean I
mean-
can't say that? I can say it. First
Yeah.
off, you say whatever you want, but
Well,
Can you, though?
today,
facts is facts.
right now, Steph Curry's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Is Klay Thompson?
Could be injuries
Could
or the
be.
No.
That doesn't
could
big-
be.
doesn't
Even
mean-
if you say could be, that's a big difference.
Yeah, but that's because of injuries recently. That doesn't mean he's not a better player than him. There's been better players throughout the league throughout history in the NBA that might have been better, but they literally had injury issues that didn't quite get to show. Like, that doesn't mean that they weren't better than them. Okay,
So as of November 30th,
Who, if you are you
he has
are,
a 96 defensive rating, is in top 15 in the league in steals and top 22 in deflections.
who?
Steph Curry.
Great team defense concept. End of the so no seriously I am being serious.
You just said he's horrible at defense.
He is.
And then you change it
hold
to
on.
the team
Are
defense.
you calling when a guy is coming down, especially in a critical point in the game? Are you calling on Curry to cover him or Thompson? And don't lie to yourselves just to get me irritated. Think about this for a second. No, I'm being dead serious. He's a basketball guy because he's not. He's a wrestler. He likes to touch dudes instead. My question to you is:
You know what state you live in, right?
If the player, who cares? If the player comes down, and you had a choice, you're telling me you'd have Curry cover him over Klay Thompson? Are you serious right now?
I didn't say that, did I?
You have that look in your eye like you want to.
Well, I do because it's fun. No, I wouldn't say that.
Why?
I think
Curry's way better.
because Clay's a good.
He's a Hall of
defender.
Famer, though. What do you mean?
Yeah,
He's a better
is.
player than Klay
That's
Thompson.
correct.
Why wouldn't you have him on him?
When you look at what Steph has been able to do, especially on the offensive end versus what Clay has done.
Because he's been banged up. But why
He's
wouldn't
a
you have
better
him, though?
player,
He's
right?
there. Klay Thompson may buckle and break down because his body broke down, you know? Why wouldn't you have Curry
You know,
do it?
you're right. In that case, I might have to look.
See,
to
there
Steph.
you go.
Yeah, because Clay gets hurt.
I'm trying to help you out here.
Clay gets hurt. No, Clay's a great player. It's not to diminish him at all. I'm excited that he's back. I think the league should be nervous.
Definitely.
I think it's signs he'll deliver. And maybe the Suns would have a shot. I mean, I still believe in the Suns, but whoever comes out of that's winning. That's one thing I know we all agree on there. That like if everyone's healthy, whatever, and whoever comes out of that West slugfest right there between those two,
Agreed. Yeah,
because I don't think any other team's really hanging and banging with them like that. So
not like that.
Yep.
Detroit Pistons are acquiring Bull from Denver for Rodney Magruder and a second-round pick. Bull's been a kind of
Don't you
little
disrespect
surprise.
Magruder like that.
I didn't say Magruber. I said Magruder. Bull's been a nice little basketball player since he came in, actually.
Yeah,
And when I don't mean little as in height. That's for damn certain.
Yeah.
he's a tall man.
Yeah, that's one tall man. Oh, let's see. We're going right into that. We'll continue with the NBA. The NBA fined Sacramento Kings assistant GM Wes Wilcox $15,000 and the team $50,000 on Thursday for violating league rules prohibiting team owners and executives from interacting with the scorer's table personnel during gameplay. Don't know what they try to do, but
Yeah.
it's
That's
just weird.
interesting.
That's just
Weird.
a
Yeah.
weird one to me.
Take that money.
Are we on to pure league football? We are on to pure league football. Broncos fire head coach Vic Fangio and reportedly their offensive coordinator Pat Shurmur. Fangio in 3 seasons
Finally.
went 19-30.
Finally. You know what?
I saw an article,
You've probably seen the same one.
the same one about the coaches,
Yeah.
or the quarterback.
Yeah,
Okay.
right. They haven't had a quarterback, and so they keep just whirlwinding through these coaches. And I was going to bring up that same thing. It is something interesting to think about for sure. However, you do think that a good coach would bring in somebody offensive coordinator-wise that could maximize the quarterback's potential, whoever you have back there, play to their strength and up their game. And unfortunately, they just haven't. That's why I feel like. So I get it. You're not set on the quarterback position yet, but at the same time, you bring in somebody, you do something to maximize your quarterback's talents.
Yeah.
It hasn't happened in Denver yet.
He made a mistake by going with Teddy B.
I agree.
As in, like, that was a safe pick. That was the one that wasn't going to win you games or lose you games. That was going to be everything else needed to fall into place, right? If you were going to roll the dice, especially if you believe in your defense, as he should, right?
Yep.
You should have rolled with the higher ceiling or the shot at the dark.
The guy who will push the ball down the field.
He'll at least try to do that and see what you do have.
Yep.
You get to knock out two birds with one stone. They wouldn't have done any worse, I don't believe, with him back there. I'm not saying they would have won any more games. Don't know that. But that was conservative, and they still went 7-10.
Yeah.
You didn't need conservative.
Right.
You need a little bit more, especially with those receivers.
Right. Yeah, and you need a guy that'll take those shots because you know what the Chiefs have on offense. You got to be able to keep up when you're hoping your defense can keep it close. So you got to score points.
Yep.
And then Chargers, defense not that scary, but they have an offense that can put up 40 points a game. You need to be able to push the ball downfield and keep up with a team like that.
Even if you're able to hold them, like what you were just saying, like 40 points. Even if your defense is able to keep them down to 28. Teddy B is not on a consistent basis putting up 29 goddamn football points. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, not in the shot at it. I'm not saying that I don't like Teddy B, but he played the conservative route. He went the true defensive coordinator in his heart, and he's like, I'm going to just sit here and play conservative football where my quarterback doesn't turn the ball over. So he threw for like 3,200 yards. That isn't today's era of football, right? And he went with a way more conservative pick, and it didn't work. You should have went the other route and seen what you at least had. Maybe you'd still have a job, maybe you wouldn't, but you'd be no worse off than you are right now.
Yeah, I think he would have. I think what he did by picking Teddy B was he got to last through the season. If he would have had Locke playing, it would have been much worse because he's not good. He does have the upside potential, but he also has the downside like a fucking Jameis Winston potential too. But without that same upside that Jameis gives you. So he's going to throw a ton more interceptions. He's going to try to chuck the ball down the field, sure, but he's not accurate. So I don't think you win either way with those two quarterbacks. So it's not like I'm necessarily even arguing it hardcore. But Drew Lock wasn't the answer either. That wasn't going to save his job, and I think he probably would have been let go earlier because they would have been much worse off.
I don't think they would have been much worse off. I'm not saying they – I don't know about the season.
I could see Drew Lock getting them 7 wins at least.
Yeah, at least 7 wins with that. Like, I honestly think they literally hit exactly what Teddy B got them. A couple flips and plays here and there, like some freak plays might have turned them into that 8-9 range, maybe 9-8. They would have been like right kind of there, right? Flipping. Drew Lock can do that same thing for you, but he can give you an opportunity to still gunsling it in. When they are down, Teddy B does not give you that security that you're like, okay, he can go down and get us. We need 17 points. You're not thinking Teddy B's going to get you anywhere near 17. He may march you down and get 1 touchdown. Drew Lock can. Whether he's accurate or not, he will sling it down there, and he will throw a 60-yard bomb, and all of a sudden Cortland Sutton comes down with it, and you're in the ball game.
Drew Lock is a bad NFL quarterback, and Teddy B is not a bad NFL quarterback.
He's a conservative
ultimately,
quarterback.
that's what it is. But he's not a bad NFL quarterback.
Right, but
so
he shouldn't be your starter then. I mean, if you're going to do that, it should have been Case Keenum or something then. You should have
and I
don't think Case
like
and then Case Keenum, he was pocketing for around 500.
Yeah.
That's what he wanted to play conservative football. Where I guess we just have to agree to disagree because his best shot was literally with Drew Lock. That's literally what it was. He ended it where he was supposed to end. He was supposed to end between 7 and 9 wins. He ended with 7.
Yeah, so we can agree to disagree on that. I think more important than the quarterback situation was the play calling because it wasn't good.
Really bad. Their special
team
coach
you know about
horrible.
That offensive coordinator, so you know
Shermer.
He's
right.
not
no
great.
bueno.
Yeah.
That being said, as soon as they fire Zimmer, I want them to pick their coach ASAP. I hope it's a good one, obviously. But you need to call Vic Fangio for your defensive coordinator spot as soon as humanly possible.
Yep.
Because you have some of the pieces there, some young pieces, stuff like that. That'd be so awesome. But you need to pick a guy. I don't think anyone's going to give Vic Fangio a head coaching job. But he's going to be a defensive coordinator on someone's staff, and they're going to get instantly better.
Yep.
You know?
I'd like that too, yeah.
I don't think it's going to happen. I think it would take too long, and someone's going to pick him up that already has a job that needs a defensive boost somewhere. Yeah. The Cleveland Browns reportedly plan on having Baker Mayfield as their starting quarterback in 2022.
Yeah, well, I think, first off, I think you have to say it in terms of keeping weapons and guys wanting to stay. You got to at least say, okay, we have a quarterback, because you can't leave the question mark open. Or even being like, we're going to try to draft somebody, right? Because then your weapons or potential free agents and stuff like that are going to be like, well, I don't want to be here for a rebuild, another quarterback, trying to find the quarterback. So, and like I say, I think he signed on a prove-it deal myself. Excuse me. Because there's not going to be anything out there that you can find that's going to be any better than that.
Yeah, we're on the same page there. He's going to have to do some kind of prove-it deal. I was more surprised with this because just a few days ago there were reports that came out that Baker was complaining about the play calling, and there was a potential he was going to ask to be traded as well.
But then he claimed, I heard that I guess he claimed and went right at that reporter. I can't remember her name. Evidently has never been accused of telling a false reported story in her career. He claimed that she was lying. That never came out of his mouth. The information that got leaked was not. And went at a seasoned vet. It wasn't like someone that had been there for a while. I can't remember her name off the top of my head.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. I'm still going to stick with exactly what I just said a second ago. I'm going to ride that one out. If you're going to go with Baker, you might as well just go with your backup with Case Keenum. You really should. If you and then you have hope that you can swing a deal for Deshaun Watson. Because if everyone sticks to their word, Russell stays where he's at. What was the other one I just told you a little bit ago? Aaron Rodgers looks like he's staying. He's doing nothing but
they said they
saying
committed
him and Brian
to him.
Gutekunst or getting a Gutekunst or whatever his name is, are getting along great.
Right.
It doesn't look like he's leaving Green Bay either.
Right. And you don't hitch your wagon down. We can pull in Deshaun Watson because you have no idea how this is going to play out.
And you still don't. You're hoping that it gets done in this offseason. Figured out what's going to happen, what punishment is coming.
Well, I think he's still suspended for a big time when he comes for conduct detriment to the league, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think that's coming on top of this.
Yep.
So
I think he's going to get, what is that? Is that going to be bare minimum 4 games, even if
bare minimum?
Because he's not.
Bare minimum.
Well, I'm not saying it shouldn't be more. I'm just throwing out the original number. Like if no charges go through and everything gets settled outside of it, I think it'd be 4 bare minimum. Could be up maybe 5 because you're at a 17-game season. I'm talking about no criminal charges go through. It's just literally you take care of the lawsuits, right?
Yeah.
They'll still do the contract detrimental, absolutely.
He got 6 games that year?
Yeah.
For nothing.
Well, about nothing. But yeah, way too much. Way too much. I think was that the one where he grabbed a chick?
Yeah,
when they were afloat,
stuff like that. Yeah,
it was recorded. Yeah,
it was recorded, but she didn't have a complaint, right?
Yeah,
right. I'm not saying condoning either which way, but last time I knew she didn't have a complaint. Yeah. This literally something happened here.
Something definitely
happened. Something spring loaded every time he turned around.
Multiple times.
Yeah, not to say that Deshaun isn't a great quarterback. I think he'll be great wherever he goes. But this season for the Texans, I think, hurt his stock a little because one of the big selling points was he led that shitty team to 4 wins.
Yeah.
Didn't they win 5 this year now? Is that what they ended at?
I don't know. So I think so.
At or better than what he did, right?
I don't know what. Oh, hold on. I have the standings up, actually. My bad. You had 4 wins. They had 4 wins.
So at least that.
Yeah. So they matched him without that amazing talent.
With one more game.
Touche.
Yeah.
With one more game.
Come on.
I'm off.
For the love of everything.
Yeah.
Totally
we need to go back and look and see which game actually got squeezed in. If that counted as a win.
Right. Who'd they blow out? That was a total fluke.
So the Vikings lost the Chargers? Or did they win that earlier this season? Because that was what I'm getting at. That was the added game when they went to 17, by the way. I don't know what theirs was. Maybe the one that got squeezed in just so happened to end up with a victory.
There you go.
I don't think. All I'm saying is, in my opinion, and maybe Denver would roll the dice on them too. I have no idea. I think Baker should be done in Cleveland at bare minimum, maybe for themselves and himself, for both. Because Cleveland doesn't like you anymore. None of their fan bases. You're not. That offense still didn't suit you, which makes no sense because it's almost like it was a bread and butter, which should have matched you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something isn't quite right. You should. I think for you wouldn't be any worse off, in my opinion.
You're better. You're
going with Case Keenum.
I think
him.
Okay. I'm saying he's better off going to the Broncos.
Yeah. He would be better off. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
We talked about the weapons there, the running backs there. You have a good defense there. So yeah, I mean, he would be 100% better off.
Yeah, it's hard because the Cleveland doesn't have a system that you're going to thrive in as a quarterback, probably, right? They're going to use those two running backs. They're going to fucking run the ball all day, and you're going to pass the ball 20 times a game or whatever.
But it's
so I want to use that as an excuse for him, right? And be like, listen, he didn't. But when he did have a chance to throw the ball, it was not good.
No,
he was overthrowing.
He was hurt and everything, and I understand that. But even before he got hurt, if you guys remember, he wasn't hitting on that. And 20 times a game is pretty damn good all year. And this type of offense, this is a zone run scheme offense, which is also heavy play action. You have wide open receivers on a regular basis that you should be able to hit the intermediate. They're not telling you to go deep down the field with it every time either. Those plays are there.
Yeah, and that's my point. I wanted to use that to argue for him, but he still didn't take advantage, so can't defend him.
A little Viking news, or no news, whatever you want to call it. I guess before the game, Anthony Barr on Instagram said one last one. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
Suited up and. I'm a homer. It sucks to see one of your guys go, one of your favorite players, or a guy that has put everything. But the dude can't stay healthy, number one.
Yeah.
Number two, even when we were out edge rushers, Zimmer still didn't use this man as an edge rusher, which he was at UCLA.
Right.
He wasn't worth the money that we were paying him because you weren't using him as an edge rusher either.
Yeah.
So you never capitalized on that. And I think he has some serious knee injuries coming up. Like as in, not coming up. I think he has them, and it's going to be like this for the rest of his career now. He's going to miss right around 7 games a season.
Yeah, and
minimum.
It's one of those situations we talked about, right? He's a great player, but injuries are totally fucking him, and obviously it's a waste of money, essentially.
So for him to lose all these pieces, what I'm also getting at is
here we go.
Kirk Cousins,
Jets, man.
Kirk Cousins for a
Cashed
first
in.
round pick would look really good in a Browns jersey.
You want Baker?
No.
Oh, you're trying to tank. Yeah,
No.
I forgot.
No. I'm not trying to tank. Kellen Mond, let's try it. If they end up tanking because Kellen Mond's back
What
there,
happens? What happens?
And actually, he has to tank for 2
I don't know.
seasons because I don't want the quarterbacks from this one. I want the next one.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. Depends on how they value Kirk. How much better, than Baker. A healthy Baker. I'd say he's probably a little bit better as a straight-up passer.
First of all, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Not even in the ballpark. This isn't even close. Kirk Cousins is a way better passer than that. I think you dislike him
whatever.
so much.
I'm just saying he's better. I'm not trying to take a shot at him.
Considerably,
He's better.
but is he good enough to where you think you could win a Super Bowl with him and you have to pay that in salary cap? I get you there if you want to say that,
No.
but he's clearly better. I think he just gets overpaid for what he is. You need a system around him.
Yeah.
Which we've all said.
I'm not hating on him. I'm just saying, however they value that and the difference they think that is,
Yep.
I don't know. Yeah, I would take it, but I don't know if I'd go first round draft pick. I mean,
If they have all the pieces, because we've talked about their defense, and they were banged up this year, right?
mm-hmm. Yeah, they were heavily banged up.
And they have the cap space. You have the running game to go with it. A 1-2 punch, by the way. Not just a one guy and that's it.
Yeah.
You have one legitimate possession receiver. You probably have to go out and get another one somehow, some way, whether it's trade, maybe hopefully draft or something like that, maybe. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, if they think they're
They have the system,
I mean,
right?
if they think they're right there and that's the missing piece is one.
It would have to be like
one better quarterback. Then
I think they'd be in the same boat like we were. You'd have a very limited open window at this. You'd have probably about 2 seasons. I haven't looked at everyone's contract in the Browns.
Yeah.
Who's due and you want to keep and all that. But I think we already looked at it once, so they would have to do it one time. And you'd have maybe 2 years. And if you don't get it in that, then you're in the same boat that we are right now.
Yeah, I don't know, because here's the thing. Cincy is, what the heck? Have you been drinking?
Maybe. I did.
Cincy is on a roll right now. They are on pace to be good for the next 5 years. So, I mean, if you think you can, win the division race.
I think he can sling it with them. You don't think he can sling it with them?
I don't know.
Kirk?
Yeah. With them. I'm not saying I'm not saying he's as special as any one of them up there, but he can sling it with them.
I think he'll be fine, but
especially
I'm
with Myles
talking
Garrett and all
overall
them.
team. Overall team, you sell out like that if you think, hey, this is our shot. We're one quarterback away.
You're selling out for 1 or 2 seasons, absolutely,
Right,
and I agree there. Yeah.
And can we all agree on that too? The Browns are legitimately a quarterback away from potentially being in the Super Bowl,
I think
right?
they are.
I think so
And
too.
a receiver. They need another receiver. The Odell thing not working out.
Too.
I think they need one more receiver with Jarvis Landry. They have 2 tight ends that can still ball with them. So they got that. I think they need one more receiver. I don't think Donovan Peoples. I like Donovan Peoples-Jones. I just don't think he's
I think
that.
they're an offensive coordinator. They got to get something to open that up a little bit.
That's Stefanski. He does just fine.
I think you need to open that up a little bit. Run 2 backs, 1 coming out, or something else. You have those 2 tight ends, and they don't use them.
Mm-hmm.
They don't.
Well, he doesn't.
Sorry.
He doesn't use them.
Oh,
That system does.
Yeah. But
I'm saying Baker doesn't. I think that's more Baker than anything. That's just me.
I get it.
The few I've seen. This isn't like one of those things I'm trying to argue with you on. I just like what I've seen. I think it's more Baker than anything else. And maybe I'm giving Stefanski too much credit. Maybe I am. He also went away from running the rock too against the Packers. So that was him. That was not Baker. Yeah. Baker threw 4 interceptions in that game. But they were demolishing the Packers on the ground, and they went away from that. That's head coaching. That's play calling, whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
NFL regular season records broken so far today, up to this point that I have. Jamar Chase breaks Ocho Cinco's Bengals receiving yards record with his record of 1455. Dak Prescott passes Romo's record on Saturday night, Cowboys single season passing touchdown record of 36. TJ Watt ties NFL single season sack mark with 22.5. Dolphins wide receiver Jalen Waddle sets record for most receptions by a rookie, passing Anquan Bolden's 101 receptions. I have 2 questions for you, gentlemen. First one, what's the most impressive one out of those that I just named so far?
It has to be, I think, Jamar Chase, man. We talked about their receivers and the weapons they have. So to do that with 2 other capable weapons plus Joe Mixon there, I think that one has to be.
Okay.
100%.
Okay. I didn't think about it like that.
I think about Miami. Somebody's got to catch the ball, right? You don't have too many pass catchers there. Somebody's got to catch the ball. Granted, we talked about he's got to catch it. Yes. The Dak one, quarterback records. We're throwing the ball.
Should he not have, real quick, I'm up for a question just for you. Shouldn't he have demolished this record had he not had his couple slumper games there? Like, would he have like 4 slumpers? He would have blown this one out, right?
Oh, yeah.
Even if he just threw like 2 touchdowns in those games.
Yeah. I think, and going off that, I think, the league has become such a passing league now that all these records should fall and continue to fall, passing ones.
Until it gets settled back in.
Yeah, you could see it coming. That's just what we do. And so, you look at the Bengals and what they have for weapons on the offense to do that with those on the team, I think that is impressive to do.
Who you got in this one, Danny?
Watt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Watt. The Steelers don't have a ton of talent to rush like him. It's just him. It's not like there's somebody else on the other side that really helps to take pressure off. Always. He's like getting
Melvin
Aaron
Ingram.
Donald.
Come on.
No, they let him go. He went to the Chiefs.
Yeah, that was early too.
That's right.
He traded him.
He did get traded.
So he's getting the Aaron Donald treatment every single time. So you're talking double, triple, quadruple teamed at some points. And they knew, even in this Baltimore game today, they knew
he was going after it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had at least double teams throughout the whole game.
Yeah. So I'm a big fan of that. I think that's pretty cool.
Okay.
So
Dimmer, what do you think?
you almost got me sold. I was going to go T.J. Watt. I actually like the rookie record too, but of the wide receiver one. But you almost had me sold. Like, that's very, very close because of the wide receivers and all the weapons, and you still were able to put that in, put in that type of work. But I got to go with the sack. Right? I got to go with the sack. See, what's getting crucified in the media now, sports media, is that 17 games. Let's pump the brakes a little bit. Michael Strahan played all 16 games to get his 22.5. How many games do you think T.J. Watt missed?
Yeah, he missed 3, right? The 3.5.
3 and a little over half,
Yeah.
right? So let's just say 3. I think it's down to 14. Actually, I was going to look that up. T.J. Watt stats 2022. Well, that ain't showing up. That isn't supposed to go like that. Either way, I'm pretty sure it was like 3 games. So basically, he did that in like a 14-game span. Not to mention the Viking game, which we know he left after like a quarter.
Yep.
So, and he would have been going against. Does he come from the other side? He comes from the other side. I think they kind of rotate him. Either way. So I lean that way. And then that was to be my second. That's leading into my second question for you two gentlemen on this. How much does the 17th game mean to you when records come?
It's not going to matter. Personally.
Like, yeah, it doesn't bug you that these are falling. Like, they still count as records, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at.
No, the league's always evolving, whether it's adding a game, whether it's the passing game's changing, so quarterbacks are always breaking records, receivers are always breaking records. It's always changing. So, no, it's not going to change.
All of these are going to be broken in about 5 to 8 years when they go to an 18th game anyways.
Right. Exactly.
So this won't even be able to settle in long enough. You know what I mean? Like, it'll take, 10 years or more plus for the new 17-game records to kind of settle in, and then it actually gets difficult to get to them. Right?
Yep.
Or does it bug you, though? 17 games is still a record.
No, still a record. I mean, especially the first one, everybody's going to have kind of a stink eye to it. If the records are broken, I think the major ones, though, some big ones were broken by guys who played less than that amount of games. So
yeah.
So
yep.
I think it's
has potential to fall again.
Anyway, I mean, when you go to 17 games, guys are going to miss games, though.
Yep.
Whether it be rest because they twisted up their ankle and they're just trying to make sure they get right. Or COVID. Or, stuff gets trimmed.
Yeah.
So I actually think they're playing a little bit harder because stuff like that is happening. They got a little more rest because of, like what you just alluded to. So, Falcons head coach Arthur Smith indicated to team owner Arthur Blank and their GM Terry Fontenot that Matt Ryan is his quarterback in 2022 and nobody else. He made that evidently abundantly clear.
Okay.
I like that he just put it out there like that.
Yeah.
Like, there's no, hold on. If you want me to be the head coach, that's what I signed up for, and that's my quarterback, and I love the way he plays, and he's staying here.
Yeah, I think. Now, I do think they try to draft a replacement that can sit behind him and kind of learn.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I agree.
Like
should be absolutely
everything's done for there.
You thought you were really bad. Wait until you get rid of this man, and then have to roll out. Who knows?
Don't even know
somebody,
who, right?
Yeah.
And maybe that's why they said it, too. They're planning on drafting a quarterback, so he's trying to get in front of it, I don't know. Personally, I think the Falcons looked much worse than they ended up. They ended up 7-10. So
You mean they look a lot better than what we thought?
No, I did not think they should have a 7-10 record. I thought they looked much worse, but they're 7-10.
They look like a 4-win team to me.
Yeah, which is not terrible, right?
That's where I was predicting at the start of the season. So they outplayed what they're, in my opinion, they went the other way. They outperformed what I was planning on. I was planning on 4 wins.
Yeah. Yep.
So 7 is amazing.
Yeah.
Yep.
So with all the issues that they've had, they don't look great. But regardless, they had old boy quit basically, right? Because of the mental stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like they still ended up 7-10, which isn't terrible. A few more wins this year, you'd be in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. And they were right there in the playoff hunt just a couple weeks ago. Still, I mean,
yeah.
NFC was weird, but still, 3 weeks ago, they still had a shot.
Yep, absolutely.
So they were as close as the Vikings were, and the Vikings had a way healthier team, right? Or more star power, I should say.
Yep.
Reports from the Seahawks also say that they will not trade their star quarterback, Russell Wilson, even with Pete Carroll's future in limbo. Don't know which way he's going to go or whether they're going to let him go.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it's the right move because you're down for years. Once you lose a guy like Russ, a franchise quarterback, basically, years trying to find the right piece. I mean, the Browns still haven't found it yet.
I was gonna say just the Browns and look at the Broncos, two teams we've already talked about.
Exactly.
Ever since Elway, what have they been trying to do?
Well, yeah.
Not everyone's the Packers and not everyone's the
Peyton Manning. I mean, ever since he left, and took them to that Super Bowl. What?
Oh yeah, Peyton Manning for the brief stop.
Right,
but
right,
I just
right.
meant
The brief stop.
I should say a franchise 10+ year guy. But yeah, absolutely. That not everyone's the Colts, not everyone's the Packers, where your franchise quarterback, and granted Andrew Luck retired early, nobody's seen that one coming, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
But back-to-back quarterbacks are so falling in people's laps like franchise quarterbacks. That doesn't happen.
Right. Yeah.
And you're constantly searching until you finally get that guy. So
I think it's a smart move to say that. The way they balled out, they played well the last couple games, especially this last game beating Arizona.
Last 2 out of 3. Yep.
It felt different to me. It felt like it could be Russ's last game. I think the team played different than they have all year. And especially if old Pete is gone next year, I think that's going to throw some things into flux and things could change.
If he's gone, I'm leaning more towards that he would stay. Not that he had anything wrong with Pete Carroll. They have a legitimate shot of keeping Russell Wilson. If Pete leaves and they give him basically he's in the meetings or he has a say in who the next coach is.
Yeah, like Tom Brady stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
If they give him a little bit, just a little bit of a leash, or show him hey, we want your opinion. Who should we go with here?
Yeah.
So that's where I was kind of leaning at.
Yeah.
But Pete would have to go though.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I mean Hall of Fame, I'm sure at some point. Coach. And Titans clinch home field advantage throughout the 2022 AFC playoffs with their win.
Yeah.
Just surprised.
Big time.
Right.
I mean, surprising. We thought they were gonna all downhill.
All they had to do was hold on.
All they had to do was hold on.
Hold on.
And they did more than hold on.
Hell yeah.
I'll
they
never
did.
let go, Jack.
Yeah,
I'll never let go.
What a liar.
Fucking.
Yeah, that lying ass.
There was room on the
She is an
door.
asshole.
There was room on the door.
Yeah. Could you at least take your turn in the water? Can the dude get a little bit of dry board for a little bit, or
Right.
half of his body dry? Damn. Buccaneers extend defense tackle Vita Vea to a 4-year deal worth $73 million.
Well deserved. He's a stud.
Well deserved. Hell yeah.
Well deserved.
The anchor in the middle there.
Huge difference when he missed that game or two. Huge difference on how that defense rolls.
Yep.
So, but this goes back to what I think we all agreed on. I can't remember, but it all starts in the trenches. Your defense and offensive line are huge.
And him eating up all them blocks and letting them linebackers get free.
That is a grown ass man. We were talking like he could eat up 3 dudes.
Yeah.
And your linebackers get
And
to
give
roam
them
free.
trouble. And give them trouble.
Still get upfield.
Yeah.
Give them trouble.
Jaguars clinched the #1 pick in the 2022
Let's
NFL
go.
draft despite their upset win over the Colts.
Oh yeah. Still haven't won since 2014?
2014.
That's why I bet him and I hit on it, baby.
Andrew Luck was the last time they won in Jacksonville.
So I was thinking
told
about
you.
this, Rio. First overall pick. Now they can get a quarterback, right? Fuck.
No,
Finally.
you have
That'd
a
be
running
stupid
back.
of
You
them.
have a second one. You have receivers there. You have a quarterback. You take one of those edge rushers.
Yeah, you do. For sure.
You do. You
Yep.
take one of them.
Yep, or corner. We haven't seen much of tape yet, but you need defense for sure,
You need
right?
defense. Yeah.
You need defense. You need probably an offensive line too. So I mean, if you have,
Yeah, I wouldn't be.
you
if
wouldn't
you
be
fell
mad
in
at
love.
that, right?
Yeah, if you fell in love, if there's one that really stood out, and we talked about it a little bit that, its offensive line is you don't really notice until, I would say after a season. Okay, this guy's being a stud. He, 97% win rate or whatever. You're like, oh, man, yeah, heck, he's a stud. Draft him. We don't notice it. We notice the flashy stuff, the sacks, the interceptions, the catches, stuff like that. So
until these networks start hanging up that game tape.
Until we start seeing the game tape and the draft analyzation coming up, we won't know. So, yeah, I wouldn't mind if they took a piece because I told you about the first game, right, I watched, and, like, 2 of the offensive linemen slid way out to catch one guy and just let 2 rushers come right at you're the number 1 overall draft pick and just creamed him. It's like, you can't do that.
You can't do that.
Can't do that. So
there's so many things that they still need to work on. They have some nice pieces we've talked about in the past, right?
Yep.
And I think we all have to agree. And they get Travis Etienne back also next year.
Yep.
Mind you. And hopefully they get their, it's kind of late in the season. Hopefully they get their other running back that they just lost, unfortunately.
Yep.
But they have to go offensive line or defense.
Yep.
I don't think you go any more offensive
You don't take
weapons.
a cornerback one. I'm sorry. You don't. I don't think so.
No, but you could trade back.
Yeah.
You could trade back and gather picks too, because you have so many gaps in your team.
If you could pick twice in the first, this year's first, maybe.
For depth.
Once in the top 10 and then once later, then maybe, yeah.
Yep. That being said, you guys did see that they stuck to their word and like thousands upon thousands of clowns showed up to the stadium, right?
I did see that.
Love it. Yeah.
All for the Colts to just.
Right.
God, and it was a beatdown too. It wasn't even a close game. Like,
future Hall of Fame quarterback, baby.
Yeah.
If he ends up in Minnesota.
Oh, here we go.
I'm telling you. And let's see what else I got. One more. 49ers clinch playoff spot with overtime win over the Rams.
Big time. We'll face Cowboys in Dallas. Well, technically Arlington.
Not exactly a team you'd want to face, is it?
That's
a scary team is what I'm getting at.
I would rather face them than what the other scenarios were. The other scenarios were to either host the Rams or Arizona. I'd take San Fran.
At this point, I'd rather play the Rams than the Niners.
I don't know, man.
With the shot with Stafford, there's something not right with his arm.
Stafford didn't.
I don't know. There's something about Sean McVay and them. If they just find it, man.
Yeah.
If they just find it, whatever it is.
This would have been at Dallas regardless, right?
Yes.
Okay. So a little known fact is Arizona, and I did not know this. I know you're a hater, but I did not know that they were so bad at home this year.
Yeah.
They had lost at least 5 games at home.
Yeah,
they're actually road warriors.
Yeah.
So you are right in that, and just by that alone,
and I'm going
that you wouldn't want them to go.
So my Arizona one, Kyler Murray's undefeated in 18 Stadium, going back all the way through high school, and the Big 12 and the Big 12 championship was there, undefeated in college football playoffs.
So it's kind of like home to home, right?
Yeah,
there for him.
Yeah, it's like another home for him. So yeah, and that's my reason to not want to face Arizona. He has no troubles walking in there and balling out. The Rams, I am scared of what Sean McVay, Stafford can do, and that defense. I'd rather face the 49ers.
Shanahan's play calling doesn't scare you?
Not as much. They've shown. Yes, they have started playing hotter, and that's sometimes dangerous. But
I'm gonna build with you right here.
I've seen holes.
I'd much rather, even with a banged up Stafford, I'd much rather face a shitty ass Jimmy G.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Who will throw you out of it versus what Matthew Stafford can do.
Yes,
and it's also, it would also be him coming home. Also, he's a Texas boy, too, right?
I don't know.
Rams is
Stafford. Okay,
Stafford is a Texas
Sorry, I thought
boy.
you were talking Jimmy G. I was like, what?
No,
I don't know.
No, he looks Jersey all the way.
Yep,
he looks pure Jersey. Right, one of those Jersey boys.
Yeah, Jersey boys. Yeah, definitely. So I'm okay with the way it played out and who will host. So I like it.
Yeah,
a lot of history too between the two teams.
There's gonna be some great playoff games, man.
Yeah.
So the Eagles go to play Tampa. The Cowboys play the Niners, so the Niners are coming to Dallas, and then Arizona travels to the Rams. So the Rams have to play another divisional game, first round of the playoffs.
And they're going to the Rams.
They're going to, yeah.
God, that's gonna be an interesting game.
Yep.
It really is.
Yeah, that was the worst case scenario for them.
And I do have a thing. We haven't talked about this. I think I saw it come across the other day, and I had to look it up to double check. But apparently, Charlie Batch, former NFL quarterback.
Yeah.
He offered University of Oklahoma player Caleb Williams.
I did see that.
$1 million nil deal.
What school was it though?
It was Eastern Michigan University. So here's a question. It's a really interesting scenario. Would you take that?
Yeah.
$1 million.
If your dream was playing in the NFL, probably not.
Yeah, he still would.
I don't know.
I think people overlook that or start thinking about that way too much. You play in it. You play. First off, there's players that come out of each one of those conferences, those lower end conferences, all the time. He's already shown and has plenty of good game tape in the big boy league, right? You go there, get your money, and ball out and tear them up, and still show. He would still be a first round pick.
And this is my other thought with that. He's on a lower level team, right, with Eastern Michigan.
I think he set the bar, dude. I think if anything, Charlie Batch set the bar for the next one that offers him a nil deal. Though they just be like, all right, 1.2.
Here's the thing. I don't think there's any other
Yeah.
university that can offer that, or get a nil deal that comes up to that.
that needs him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or wants
there
him,
always
yeah.
is. There always is. There's always a booster with a blank check.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But would I would do it? That was your question. Yep.
Yeah, I would too.
If you believe in your talent, you're not.
I mean, you're gonna light it up.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
You're gonna
You
set all
should.
kinds of records.
Yep.
And
Eastern Mish though, like maybe Western Mish. That's a Central Mish
I don't know.
because they have a kind of a tradition.
Depends on if he wants to play in the cold, which he's from Washington D.C., so maybe he already did. I don't know. Maybe.
Maybe.
I mean, the money wise, absolutely. But
no, would you was the question. Would you?
oh man,
Isn't that what you said?
I
Yeah.
don't know.
So
Man,
the question is, would you do it?
I look at the money. Yeah, absolutely. I do.
Yeah, absolutely, you do it because
Yeah.
nothing's guaranteed.
Right.
yeah.
You don't know if you go step out there for whatever university
your
that you don't,
ACL.
you don't,
Yeah,
you
or
don't blow it
something.
out, and
Your knee,
or you go and act like wasn't Spencer Rattler supposed to be the number 1 overall pick?
Oh yeah, he's hyped up. Definitely.
Yeah. But my thought about the school thing is he's going to go there, ball out, and people are going to be like, yeah, but it's a lower level program, whatever. So his draft stock might go down a little bit,
Yeah.
which ends up being good for him because he doesn't end up on someone
Side
fucking
to
like
the Vikings,
Texans
who
or
are going to be
something.
middle of the road.
See?
Oh my gosh, here it
End up
is.
to a legit
Don't need
decent
him.
team.
Don't need him. He needs to go. Bryce Young's going to be a Viking.
Here we go.
Here
But
we
yeah,
go.
I
You
thought
heard
that
it
was
here
interesting.
first, folks.
$1 million nil deal right there.
That's crazy.
Like,
Yeah.
it'd be tough to say no to. Because didn't Oklahoma just pull someone too? They just pulled a different quarterback.
Yeah, as soon as he
The-
decommitted,
Who the fuck was that?
UCLA. He committed
yeah.
to UCLA and then backed out.
Wasn't it UCF's? I thought it was UCF's transfer quarterback, and he was going to go to.
He was going to go to UCLA.
He
and
was
then
going to go to
backed
UCLA,
out.
and then he ended up Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So it's a transfer. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Yeah, so Caleb kind of fucked himself doing this.
Caleb's still better than that guy. So if he decided
Maybe.
to go back to Oklahoma, he would start easily.
Maybe.
Not,
Yeah, I don't know.
Stop, Danny.
I don't know.
We definitely want our podcast to keep growing and growing. We don't need that right there. That is.
I don't know. I
I
will
don't
say
know.
this.
Caleb Williams.
I think he is.
better.
I think he is going to be a special player. I want to see him make a. I don't know if I say it's a smarter play, but I don't know if you watch. I watched a lot of the Big 12 football, right? Because horns and stuff like that.
Not
But
very many people like that trash.
a lot of times I saw him wing up something and his receiver come down with it. Like it was not.
Sometimes it's what you got to
it
do,
was-
though.
But
right?
multiple times though.
Yeah,
Like I get it
yeah.
throwing a 50-50 ball, but
Yeah.
multiple times he did, and it just happened. His guy just happened to come down with it, or interference, and they moved the chains and stuff like that. It's like, okay, man, maybe a little bit of smarter play. Not saying that he's a terrible, I think he'll be special for whoever he plays for.
Mhm.
I think he needs to be a little smarter sometimes with the ball.
Yeah, and I'm not.
It's not because
He was a
I
freshman,
hate OU,
right?
But yes,
He was a true freshman.
true
in fact.
freshman. Yep. So
And
that'll
his-
come into it too.
in his first season, and he took over partway through. He threw 64% completion percentage, 1,900 yards, 21 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions.
Yeah.
And yes, I understand the fire. I get what you're saying. That's kind of what those guys do. Yes, like the special ones do, and they wing it up, and they know that they have the receivers that are special, especially those bigger universities. They give their 4 or 5-star wide receiver a shot to go grab the ball, and they usually do
Right.
because you're not going against.
And like I said, I get taking some shots and trying to let your guys, but I sell this multiple times, throwing into that, and it's like, okay, sometimes you I get
Yeah.
taking your shots every now and then and trying to let your guy come down, but sometimes you just got to be like, okay, I'm taking the safe one here.
Even in their losses, though, I do take. Okay, I'm not gonna say that.
Go ahead, say it. I want to.
I'm not gonna say that. So there in their 2 losses or their last 5 games. I was going to say he wasn't the reason they lost the game. So the first one was, or the one in November, end of November against Oklahoma State. He was not the reason. He was 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 252 yards. Completion percentage wasn't sexy, but at that point, if you're putting up enough right there, that's especially against Oklahoma State, who had a pretty damn good defense.
Good defense, yep.
But then I looked down to Baylor, and he was the reason.
Yeah.
He was 9 of 18, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
Yikes.
So, yes, that would be.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and that's the one I seen thrown into when he shouldn't have been.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a freshman, true freshman, so that'll come a time.
So everything will boost.
Yeah, and I'm not knocking Caleb either. I was happy that he ended up as the quarterback versus Rattler.
He'd look real good in black and yellow.
100%. When you asked that question, and I said, maybe, is more because, like, who's going to be a better fit with the new coach in their system, right? This kid from UCF, maybe he's just a better fit and it works out. I don't know. Caleb's a fine quarterback, but
I think they're just not rolling the dice. They've lost so many recruits that they're taking anything, and we're like, we're not going to trust that you come back. We need
absolutely.
We need to bring guys in. So that's what I was leaning more at.
So you think he comes back and says, hey, did you hear about Eastern Michigan? What you got?
To Oklahoma, no.
Yeah.
But the next deal, yes, he's not going to end up there because now old boy set the bar. Maybe it was like an agent kind of put a bug in Charlie Batch's ear. Maybe you could hook us up by doing this, because now it just set the bar. The next one that comes in, all right, $1.1 million, because someone's going to pay it. Oh, yeah. There's so many boosters out there, especially for all the major programs.
Right.
Yeah, somebody's going to pay 1.1. Someone's going to pay him even more than that, possibly. Million was the nice round number.
So your advice would be hold out and see if you get a better offer?
Oh, he will get a better offer. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah. I don't think you should have jumped ship. You still could have been the guy there. I understand. They have to rebuild the whole thing because they've lost so many pieces right now, so many transfers and everything. I think he almost had to go.
That's why I can see the logic for sure.
I'm actually seeing why he didn't. But I think he's a damn good quarterback. So no matter where he goes, he's going to succeed. And even if he goes up to Eastern Michigan, let's say he does take it, he'll still be a day 1 draft pick. Would it cost him a couple mil maybe? Difference? Yep. But he'll get taken care of.
Listen, he just needs to check out Iowa City. It's a beautiful town.
It is.
Okay.
And then you'll be an Iowa legend for life.
For life. Yep.
For life.
Yeah.
More.
Iowa needs, I like to kind of bash Iowa a little bit, but if they had a quarterback, man.
Yeah.
I tell you what.
That's a huge difference.
100%.
Even, you say you don't get too many weapons on the outside, and
we finally did, and we just don't have a quarterback. I think they're very nice receivers. I'm not saying they're going to be record breakers.
Yeah.
They're very nice receivers.
Yeah, if y'all can just get a stud quarterback. And I don't know why. Iowa City, party city and good time and whatnot.
And you have a chance to, you're playing in
the city,
a big-time conference. You're playing on the weaker side of the conference, too.
Yeah.
And you get to literally, it'd be so easy to break the passing records at Iowa. You'd be a legend for life.
You'll be a legend, yep.
For life. You could do nothing but positive.
For life. I agree.
Where else were you going there, my friend?
That was it. I just want to bring that up. We haven't talked about that yet, so.
Where do you think he does end up?
If nobody else offers, he's going to go to Eastern Michigan and take that money.
He's so easily sold on he's going to do. You ever notice? I like the idea of it. There's no way he ends up at Eastern Michigan, though. No way.
He also gets to work with Charlie Batch.
Nah, is Charlie Batch head coach?
It's a pretty big deal. What is he technically there? Let's see if I can pull it
You
up.
didn't say that. You just said Charlie Batch. I didn't know if that was his alma mater and he's taking care of it. I didn't know if it was his coach or not. That could be a little
Yeah, it just
different.
says to play for his alma mater.
Yeah, so that's his alma mater.
So
there's not much control there.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's gonna be somewhere in either the Pac-12 or the SEC.
Yeah, it's a lot of money for a kid. I'm jealous. So
yeah, so am I.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
We want to get quite a mill, 950,000.
Yeah, I tweeted at Wyoming and said that we're open to walk on.
Did you?
It said we all have eligibility.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
I still have all 4 years plus my COVID.
Well, I don't have all 4 years, but
I got all 4 plus my COVID.
there you go. Boom. Get it.
And then the Aaron Kraft rule too.
You can throw it. You see the mountains, he can throw it over them.
All right.
Where are we going?
Let's I'm going to break down this AFC playoff situation quick.
There we go.
So, we've got Titans 1, Chiefs 2, Bills 3, Bengals 4, Patriots 5. That's all that's locked in right now. Chargers Raiders would technically be the next 2, but they play tonight. And then it'd be Steelers. So, if the Chargers and Raiders tie, the Steelers are out.
Mm-hmm.
They're done. But more than likely, it's not going to happen. Both teams have said we want to win the game.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's stupid though, right?
so stupid.
So stupid.
Is
Get
that not?
in.
Well, maybe they say that, and they're like, all right, it's going to be 14-14. We're just
we'll take
going
it
to
nice and easy.
we're gonna call QB sneaks with our third stringer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go through the motions.
Yeah.
Kind of like a little ramped up walkthrough.
Maybe. Yeah.
There's
I
no,
don't-
But, you
there's
know,
no way.
why-
Why would you roll the dice?
I
I
don't
don't
know why you
care
do
how
that.
competitive it is or not.
Because 3 teams in the division go in. I don't know.
I don't care. You don't seal.
So Chargers. So who even. No matter if somebody wins and somebody loses, nobody gets in.
No, so Chargers, Raiders, one of them is getting in.
That
Whoever
tie-
wins.
that tie is saved
And
the
then the
Steelers.
last one will be
Steelers.
the Steelers.
Yep.
Whoever wins
That
that
tie
game, they get in
hooked
along with
them
the
up.
Steelers.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, but if they tie, they both get in.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
both get in with the Chargers being 6, Raiders 7.
So stupid that they don't.
They should. Absolutely.
And this isn't even our. To me, it's not even our hatred for the Steelers because we all predicted that they would go
Yeah.
to last. This is literally like, to me, it'd be like common sense. You can't win the championship without having an invite to the ball, right?
Exactly.
That's a guaranteed invite.
And it's
if
like a
you
bye week.
tie.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's like a bye week. Just chill.
Everyone throw their third stringers out there. We can just
Yeah.
kind of wing it around a little bit. And when it comes down to it, we promise we'll lay down and so that you can tie no matter what the scenario, But
Yeah.
Yeah.
that to me, I understand that sucks for anyone that is like super. And
Right.
we're all competitive. I am.
Right.
So normally I wouldn't want to say that. But common sense says if you think
Right.
you have a legitimate shot at it,
Because if
why
you
would
go out and we play this game like normal and say you're the Chargers and you lose this game, last second field you'll be like, man, why didn't I take that? And I
Yeah.
didn't.
Yep.
Same thing with the Raiders. I mean,
The Raiders of all of them, I mean, everything
well,
they went through
Raiders,
this year,
yeah.
why wouldn't you? Like,
Yeah, exactly. We shown they can get crazy and put up points and win
Yeah.
games. So yeah,
this one's
Try to get
insane.
in.
This one's insane to me. I'm not saying you couldn't go out there and kind of wing it out and a little bit, like joke around, but make sure you come.
we're
Gentlemen's
going to allow
agreement.
41 points each and come OT. We're going to kneel the ball.
Yeah. I don't know. So I have
They
to give-
can't. They can't come out. So here, they cannot come out and say we're going to do that.
No,
Right? The
no, they
NFL's
cannot
gonna-
say that.
The NFL will do something.
Yeah.
So they can't just come out and say they're going to do that.
Yeah.
Now, once the game starts, they can do whatever the hell they want.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh, so it could still happen. Yep.
Just gentleman's agreement. Just
Yeah.
this is just the way we do it tonight. Okay?
Oh, Derek Carr twisted his ankle coming
Well,
out to
pull
the
him out.
field.
Oh.
Pull him out.
Yep.
Right.
Herbert banged his knee in the locker room.
Right. Stepped on his big old and
Yeah.
tripped over and twisted his ankle.
Yeah.
I
know.
don't know. I have to give. So right now the Raiders are up 10-0. By the way, on the Chargers. So
Chargers going to mess around and be out.
yep. I want to give props to Mike Tomlin because that fucking pulling that shit show of a team into the playoffs
Yep.
is amazing.
What I see that
He has
15 years
never-
straight.
He's never had a losing record ever
Right.
as being a head coach.
Yeah, that's 15 years I think I saw.
Is that what
Something
he's
like
at?
that, Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Regardless, never.
yeah.
I'm gonna say it, first ballot Hall of Famer.
I agree.
When it comes, right? Even with no more Super Bowl victories. Right?
Listen, when you always win, you always end up with a winning record, and fucking your
you
quarterback.
should walk away after this year, though, right? If you wanted to keep it,
Depends.
This defense is balling.
Depends
so,
on who
yeah.
goes there, who they get as a quarterback.
They're not. He's not going there.
So anyway, here's my point though. In this era where your fucking quarterback's got to throw 300 yards a game, and your quarterback is throwing 24 for 40 for $125, 3 yards average, like awful.
Yeah.
and you pull them into the playoffs. That says so much about him. And I do feel bad for Harbaugh because I really believe the reason they didn't end up winning and making it to the playoffs is the injuries were so bad for them at every level.
Yep.
So I do, because I think he's a great coach too. But props to Tomlin, man. That shit, it's amazing. I can't believe it. None of us can, right? We all picked them to be bottom of the division, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So, fuck.
Well, we were thinking no higher, no lower than third, I think is what we kind of all were saying. So we weren't 100% quite sold on Cincinnati, or we were kind of reflecting, but no higher than third.
Yeah.
And he kept this team hanging even in spite of
Right.
Yeah.
no O-line, a banged up and old Ben Roethlisberger, the receiver drama that they've had, and it's impressive. It really is. Like they'd never quit on him, even when people kind of say something, and he has no problem chiming in and shutting them down. Like when what was it, Chase Claypool saying some dumb shit. He almost got axed off that team too, mind you, because he cost them a victory against the Vikings.
Yep.
So, but that being said, going through all that, nothing but respect for that man.
Yeah, that offensive line thing's a good point too, because if you watch much Pittsburgh games, Najee's getting the ball, he's getting hit immediately 9 times out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a really good call too, just everywhere, man. But yeah, so that's what the playoffs look like, and right the way it looks now, 10-0, Raiders are up. One of those teams is going to end up in with the Steelers. So, with that said, the Steelers will have to play the Chiefs.
We'll go over.
That's not good.
We'll go over and run down the scores, at least of the close games.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's see what we had here. Browns, Bengals in a pointless game, 21-16. Case Keenum balled out with 2 touchdowns. Who should be their starter? Jarvis Landry also got a touchdown, which is rare. He's more, that tweener guy.
Yeah.
The upset, our man, Rio. Go ahead and give yourself a little bit of love here.
You know it, buddy.
Lions beat
Lions,
the Packers.
I told you. Dude, I went 3-0.
37-30.
Went 3-0.
37-30.
I took Detroit over Green Bay, plus 3.5. Yeah, I thought they were gonna mess this up when they got the ball back with 4 minutes left or so, and I was like, well, this is over. Can't trust Jared Goff to drive the field and put him away. But
no, the Packers and Jordan Love, the future, pissed that away. 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
What's that tell you about? God, what the Packers could have been had they got like one of those receivers right about then?
Oh my gosh.
That
Oh
they
my
should
God.
mess that up. Yeah.
God, they messed that up so bad. Appreciate you for doing that. Because Aaron Rodgers, regardless if he stays there, we only have to deal with like maybe another 3 seasons of it, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, eventually we say that about Tom, but Tom hasn't gotten whooped up on in his career near like Aaron Rodgers has. He's gotten beat up, right? So,
Hold on. I need to fact check you on something real quick. Did you not pick the Giants to cover and potentially beat Washington? I thought one of us did.
I picked him to cover.
No.
Okay.
I only
thought that
had
was
3
real.
picks last night.
Okay.
Or the other day. And Vikings to win over the Bears, Steelers to win versus Baltimore.
Okay. Got it.
Coming right into that one, Vikings did win 31-17, so all they did was just hurt themselves even more. They could have had a way better draft pick.
Yep.
So, nothing special from this game. The little bit that there was Justin Jefferson came up like 14 yards short of the all-time Viking receiving record held by Randy Moss. Other than that, a couple touchdowns. Not a bad game, but regardless, it was a flat first half. I can't believe they actually, and they shouldn't have won anyway. I didn't want them to win, but that's what they do. They get in their own way.
Yep.
Washington football team, battle of the bottom there, 22-7 against the Giants. Nothing too special there. Antonio Gibson balled out for you a little bit too late in fantasy, and McLaurin had an okay day. I think he went over 1,000 yards. So
cool.
Giants.
Yeah.
Winning 4 games. You were close on that, Jimmer.
I was.
You were close.
Would we like to go back to this? Are we going to keep going back to this?
Yes, we will. You said
there's so many injuries. Come on now.
Giants would win 9 games. Cowboys wouldn't be over 500.
Daniel Jones has not played. I was right on more than I was misinformed about. And they've been without Daniel Jones alone for like at least 4 games.
I'll take long neck Mike Glennon every day. I'm
No, you
just kidding.
All day.
By far the upset of the day, though. Jaguars 26-11. And this was even that. It was actually 26-3.
God, man.
Man, Colts just let themselves down. Man,
They
you
did.
win, you're in, and they're going to pick number 1 in the draft. And no, what better feeling than to come out and swing for the fences and you knock a division opponent out of the playoffs, and you get still the number 1 pick.
Biggest hard on right
Insane.
there. The one thing you can live for is hurting someone else's. Misery loves company, and especially in your own division.
Well, I guess
the
they didn't
rivalry.
even know. Did you see the press conference afterwards? It was he
Is
certainly
Urban
fooled
still
me.
there?
He
Is
still
Urban
fooled
still
me,
there?
I tell you that, because he looked. He was like, "What?
Who's
Hell yeah."
that?
The coach for Jacksonville.
Yeah, bullshit.
So
Then he's definitely he was definitely a coach under that regime of Urban Meyer. He has to play. Oh, I had no idea.
Well, let's not forget, they needed some help to not make the playoffs, too. Pittsburgh maybe shouldn't have won that game, and Pittsburgh won, so they got double fucked, you know? So
no, it was winning their end, right?
win in their end, but if they
Yeah.
lost and Pittsburgh lost, they would have still been able to make it.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, but Pittsburgh winning fucked everything up.
Trevor Lawrence did go for 223 and 2 touchdowns in that game. I think he got Marvin Jones a payday.
Yeah,
I
he
think
did.
there was a bonus. Was it like 7 or something like that?
500,000.
What the hell do we
Okay.
got noise on for? I thought I had that off.
Ooh.
That being said, rolled right into, you already touched on it, Steelers went ahead and won 16-13, that typical field goal game. I told you that half point is enough.
Yep.
Anytime, more times than not. 9 times out of 10, if they're giving you the half point or more over 3, you take that in this rivalry. I don't care what's going on from here on, even here on out,
Yeah.
even without Big Ben there. For whatever reason, they play up for this, and this is one of the best in our generation's rivalries.
Yeah.
Right there.
Totally agree.
Big Ben, not too bad of a day, actually. 244 and a tutty. Latavius also balled out for you, too. 150 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, he did.
Sweet.
Perfect.
Nice work.
Yeah, very nice. That also comes to the point where I owe a bet to these fine gentlemen as soon as we get ourselves a decent snow.
Go ahead and say it.
We're getting some bare-ass snow.
Because what did you say was going to happen?
I said the Ravens were going to. We had to go back and record this. Did I say win?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
The bet was win, but you
Because you guys
picked
took
to
them.
cover.
Oh,
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
I did pick them to cover in my pick. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hmm.
I like a term of
We
the
may- we
snowball
may
bet.
have
I
to
like
go
a
back.
snowball.
Snowball.
Yeah, I think that's.
There. I don't know. It might be too cold for them to touch. As soon as you start going down,
Yep.
bring it right back in.
Yeah.
Titans and a nail biter actually. Beat the Texans 28-25. The very competitive Texans. So I wanted to touch base with you guys a little bit on this. At Fox News this morning, as in Fox Sports, Jay Glazer had, they had the coaches coming in and out or whatever. What's going to happen? He had David Culley. Why would you have David Culley on the out list as getting fired when they've done nothing but compete with a shit-ass roster
Yeah.
and they played beyond expectations?
Yeah.
100%.
Are you kidding me? That's exactly the coach I want. Let's see what happens once we get him some talent.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he had this team competing, man.
Yeah, that defense, no namers. They
Yeah.
got
Right.
rid of all their guys for the most part, and they competed every week.
Yep.
They were the laughing stock.
Get him through a draft process and then see what happens.
How hard did we have to dig to find a victory for them when we were making our
Yeah.
preseason
Right.
choices, like when
Hard.
we were breaking it down?
It was tough.
It was very tough to even find a victory. They ended up with 4, and they actually competed with other ones, and they beat a couple good teams in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I think sometimes when they do these fucking head coaches in or out or different things, they're not looking at context of anything. They're just like, who had the worst records, and they're probably going to be. It's like, no, this is a different situation.
Like
man.
who's playing with it?
Right.
Like this team should have went over. They
Yeah.
should have joined NFL infamy
Right.
with the Browns and the Lions, and you
and
wouldn't
17.
have blamed them,
Yeah. Absolutely.
right? I was like, the only one we could dig out was the Jaguars.
Yep.
Right? We were like, they split the Jaguars.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what we were all thinking, right?
Yep.
I was like, maybe they get one there just because division. Yeah. I was just shocked to see that. I don't know if you guys felt the same way too. I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
they competed. Isn't that what you want in your coach? And a first-year head coach, by the way, for them. It isn't like he's had many runs at it here.
Yep. You get him a little bit of talent. The normal football watcher, if you will, out there, the normal fan, can probably name one player on that team, right? The wide receiver, right?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That's it.
They might even forget
That's
he's
it.
there.
Yeah. No kid. Well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been bounced around a lot, so I
Yeah.
fair. But
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
it.
agree. The Saints finished off their season. They gave themselves a swinging chance.
They did.
30-20 against the Falcons. Alvin Kamara, 30 carries for 146. So they were putting it in this man's hands to try to make sure they
Yep.
continued to finish the deal. They needed the Niners to lose. They did their end of the deal. Niners
Well,
did
old
not.
boy got hurt too. Taysom Hill. I don't remember if he rolled his ankle. There was an ankle situation though. So.
Actually, Liz Frank.
Was
Liz
it?
Frank injury, yep.
Okay.
Which is his foot also.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
damn.
Foot. But I do believe they actually did a little bit better with old boy in there.
Okay.
Yeah, Trevor Siemian went 9 of 15. He did throw 2 touchdowns. He didn't have a bunch of yards, but he did throw 2 touchdowns.
Okay.
Taysom had 1 touchdown throwing too, actually, before he left. So, nothing special there. Okay. We already touched on Matty Ice.
Matty Ice.
I would actually like to see them move on from him. I like people that finish their career where they start and everything, but they're clearly in a different phase. And give him a shot. They're in full blown rebuild, right? They're nowhere near being ready to compete. 10-7, by the way. Chargers Raiders.
Okay.
Derek Carr's touchdown. Austin Eckler has a touchdown. Let's see here. Where was I? There we are. Bills. I guess we need to knock both of these because I forgot to do this earlier. They win 27-10. Josh Allen played this whole game. Who also played the whole game, Rio?
Dak Prescott.
Were you happy about that?
I was not. Especially because we were probably going to beat them. Well, actually, sorry. Dak did not play the whole game.
He didn't?
He did not play the whole game.
So was there one series where Cooper Rush
No,
was
he
out
played. I think he must have played the entire fourth quarter. Because I remember I watched that game to the end. He did not.
there? Cooper didn't have that many pass attempts, did he? Did they just
No.
purely run? I think
No.
he had one pass attempt, one for one.
They're running like crazy at the
Okay.
end. Like Jaquan Hardy got in, but they're running
Still,
all over
was
him.
3 quarters too much?
Way too much. I was like, hey, play like
Half.
I don't know. I was 50-50 on it. When I was seeing it, I was like, okay, you're gonna thump the Eagles, whatever. But at the same time, the offense has sputtered so many times. It's like keep the rhythm, keep it going. Granted, we set some of our defensive starters, but the offense has needed that practice.
Mm-hmm.
Going against somebody other than your own teammates and kind of trying to get in that rhythm before the playoffs. So I do kind of get it as well because they've been that bad, up and down, up and down. But, hey, I like seeing the Eagles get thumped twice.
That should have been. That maybe rivalry played into that one. He would not, if he was on my team, he would not have started the second half. I'm all about rhythm, too. Mm-hmm. I am. Especially you guys hit a lull there for a little bit, especially on offense. He would not have started the second half. They were rolling on the first half, too.
Yeah.
Secondly, go ahead.
I was going to say, they played him to get the record, right? And then they wanted him to get that touchdown record probably.
Yeah, but 5 is a lot to
Maybe.
get to.
Yeah.
How close was
Maybe.
he at the end of the first half? Like, what do you have, 3 or 4?
3, I think.
Yeah.
No,
Ultimate bet.
I want to say he had 4 first half passes.
Yeah, so something like that. So you only had 1 left to
So
go.
then he's close.
He
But
played.
I get that.
He played in the 4th.
Did he?
Yeah, oh,
so
yeah.
It must have been
Yeah.
early. There was like 10 minutes left, I think, when I seen old boy come in, I believe.
We'll have to look at. Well, either way, I think he played too much.
Yeah.
Played too
Yeah, agreed.
long.
Yeah.
My gut tells me that's why
I'm sure
had
that's
him
what they
in,
went
but,
for.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
right. They probably maybe
Once
they
he
did
got
once you're in the
close,
once you got
it's
into
like,
the
go ahead,
target.
let's get it
Hold
to
on.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're almost there. That still brings you back to Josh Allen. There wasn't a record to my knowledge that was up on the clock. And, by the way, the Tennessee Titan game was already done at that point.
Yeah.
They had already had the number 1 seed wrapped up. Maybe they shut it off in the stadium. Maybe.
Well, but it wasn't. The Bills couldn't get the number 1 seed. It would have been they were worried about the Patriots game.
I thought you
Yeah.
said the Bills also had a shot still.
No, the
No,
Patriots
it was
did.
wrapped up before.
Oh, Kansas City, duh.
Kansas City and the Patriots had a shot.
Yeah.
Going into the
The
weekend. Yeah.
Patriots didn't. Kansas
Yeah,
City
they-
already won.
No, I'm saying going into the weekend.
Right, going into the weekend.
Yeah.
I'm talking about today. The game was played yesterday, Kansas City, so it was already done.
Theirs was, yeah.
So for the Patriots or the Bills, they didn't have a shot at number 1, right?
Right, the Bills didn't anyway, though. That's what I'm saying.
But, okay, even if they did, why did he play the whole game?
No, doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It was still for the division. Maybe they wanted the division for the first,
Maybe.
Yeah.
was that back-to-back seasons? They got division last year, too. Because that still wasn't the clock, obviously.
Yeah.
They just needed to win, or Patriots lost, which both happened, so that's still way too much. 45 pass attempts also.
What do you think? So they obviously, I agree with you. Josh Allen played too much. He didn't need to do that. But when you're thinking of MVP, and we talked about if Aaron Rodgers wasn't on that team, how bad they would be. The Bills would be just terrible without Josh Allen, right?
Yeah, that's the only difference. And Stephon. And what I mean by that is like Stephon took Josh Allen to like a little bit more of a level.
I agree with that, yeah.
So, but they would be nothing without Josh Allen. They would still be a plus 500 team without Stephon Diggs. I still believe they'd be at least a 9-win team minimum. I'm not. That's without me even thinking hard.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Especially because they don't run the ball. He's their rusher.
He is there.
Yeah, definitely.
This wasn't worth it.
No,
not at all.
Yep.
That was not worth it. Niners, touch on this. Come out with an OT victory, 27-24. There's a few little storylines that came out of this one. Obviously, we talked about old boy not looking the same, not looking right the last few, I want to say like 4 or 5 games. Matthew Stafford, that is.
He started the game hot. He started the game.
They were on.
But then he threw a big time interception to give them life in the first place.
Yeah. So the problem with the Rams is pressure up the middle. That's where they got there. That stretch where it was 3 games in a row where the Titans beat the shit out of them and then whoever else. Mm-hmm. It was all they started to use that and got more pressure up the middle. And Stafford can't. He's fine stepping in if there's pressure on the edges, but when there's pressure up the middle, he just hasn't been looking good.
That's everybody.
That
is literally everybody. Anyone up
then
the gut.
maybe there's a better opportunity to get that pressure.
It just
up the
doesn't
middle
happen
with them.
as much. I was gonna say it doesn't happen as much with those other ones. They were letting like a freeway lane. Into this man.
Yeah,
so.
and that was a big part of it. Was they were getting pressure up the middle today, and he was getting hit a lot. He got rolled up at one point early in the second half, I think. Yeah, and so he was limping a little bit.
And I think he got a little bit in OT too. Didn't he get smacked? And he was also hobbling a little bit. I thought I seen that on the last drive. The other story to this is that the Niners ate up what? 6? Did they have 8-minute overtime?
What is it? 12? What's overtime? I can't remember how many.
I can't remember how many, but they chewed up a lot.
Yeah, there's basically 2 minutes left.
Now they had plenty of time to go down there and do it. I don't know what happened. I would like to hear the thing from Odell because they gave themselves a shot. He launched the ball downfield, and it was way short.
Nobody looked like they knew what was going on.
Right, Odell looked back, but it's almost like he lost it because he didn't come back for it.
It's like he ran the wrong route because Stafford got up what the heck, and Odell never was in the right spot for the ball. So,
well, no, what else? What other route could it be? It was deep downfield.
Come back.
No,
maybe
he lobbed it. He lobbed it.
No, maybe he thought he was supposed to stop and come back.
No, I think he was throwing up his arm. In my opinion, he was literally throwing up his arm. Like, why didn't you come back and at least bat that down? It was a bad throw. I think that's what I would have thought. Like, come on, man.
It looked like a comeback route to the outside. What it should have been. Because he threw it and it would have been on his outside.
He looked like he airmailed it to me. That was just like he threw it up like a normal
just a
thought.
hope and a prayer.
I thought he had him. Like, as in, before you see the ball come into the picture. That's the reason why I said airmail. Because, dude, Odell has him spanked. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, and the cannon on Stafford, I'm like, oh, yeah, dude, Danny, your team is about to get knocked out right here off of a walk-off deep-ass touchdown.
Yeah.
No, so my first instinct was that he lost it in the light. Because he didn't even try to come back at it. Because he did look at it. He came back, he kind of turned his head. And it's almost like he lost it. And kind of stumbled, too, a little bit. But he didn't really come back.
That's why I'm saying I think it was the wrong route. Or whichever way.
That's a deep,
whatever
deep
it was,
comeback, though. I don't know if that's...
Whichever it was, they weren't on the same page.
Yeah, for sure.
Something wasn't right.
Jimmy G has a thumb issue, so they basically had his thumb locked into place. So that was interesting. They didn't... he was taped up so tight, so it couldn't move. That was an interesting piece. There was one drive...
He did throw for 316 in this game, too.
It's crazy.
They got some talent on that team. He doesn't... the Jimmy G story. there's a lot of shorter passes where these guys just get into space and take off. And there was a lot of that.
Is this where you kind of hum on your dude right now?
Well, I'm about to, yeah. So Debo had a rushing touchdown. And
he had
then,
a passing touchdown too.
Yeah, there was a drive where they ran the ball 10 straight times, 8 yards a carry. They're just fucking running it down their throat. And then trick play to Debo, touchdown. And so he's a lot like McVay, like you mentioned. Like, you find that weakness and you take advantage of it. I think Shanahan really is similar in that sense. And they're like, we're just going to run it down your throat. And then I think that's what tied the game, too. I think that's what put it at 17 at that point. But fucking fun game, man. It was great.
Yeah. Debo 8 for 45 and a touch on the ground, 1 for 1 in the air for a touchdown. He has 495 receiving. Jimmy G also threw. Let's not give 100% kudos like I just about did. He also threw 2 interceptions in this game.
One of them was, did you see that crazy pick that Ramsey
Jalen
had?
Ramsey?
Yeah, that shit was nuts. It wasn't a good pass, but it was a crazy catch. It bounced 6-7 times before he caught it.
The Chargers are marching, gentlemen.
All right.
We'll get on to it. Let's see. We had a few there. Dolphins beat the Patriots. Kind of meaningless game to a certain extent. Mac Jones did play 261 and a touch. I alluded to this before. The Patriots have a really tough time playing down in South Beach. They have for a long time, even through the Brady years. Even when Dolphins had horrible teams, they would come
Too
up
much
with a victory.
nightlife, baby.
Yep.
Out late. Party.
No shit.
So not much to move on there. Duke Johnson had himself kind of a day there. 117 a touchdown. Seahawks upset the Cardinals 38-30. Rashad Penny had 190 rushing yards, gentlemen.
Yeah.
On 23 carries too. So it wasn't like he had 35 carries or something. He did this on 23 carries, 190 yards.
Dude's a stud if he can stay healthy. I know when he come into the league, fantasy, I picked him up and he sat on my bench because he had never
just waiting.
For some reason, the coach, for whatever reason, the coaches didn't like to play him. And then, of course, he got banged up in the when he finally kind of got a shot. So now he's showing he can kind of stay healthy. He was banged up this year, but when he can stay on the field and get the rock in bulk and not like 9 touches a game, he does well.
Yeah. Cardinals backing into the playoffs. They've got to go. You've got to make a choice here, Jimmer. You've got to make a choice this upcoming weekend.
Oh, yeah. Who's
Who
winning? Who's winning?
Who they got?
Rams.
Oh, Rams are winning.
You said Arizona's a road warrior team. They go
They
to
are. They are. But they were my Super Bowl pick.
Okay.
The Rams. Why would I back off it now?
You love the Cardinals, so that's.
No, I just said the Cardinals are legitimate, and they will be. You even said it yourself. As soon as JJ comes back here, everyone's in trouble.
I said I like them better. I think
said
I
they're
took
in trouble.
my percentage
You said they were in
from
trouble.
0
Yes,
to
he
3.
did. He
To
did
97%. You said to 97%.
You're fucking nuts.
Jeez.
Yeah. You said 3% from 100% is what you said.
I don't know a night we've been this misinformed, ladies and gentlemen.
Buccaneers. We'll move on from that. Buccaneers roll up the Panthers just like we all expected them to do. 41-17. They lock up the number 2 seed, as we so alluded to already. Tom Brady tore it up like usual. 326 and 3 touchdowns. Gronk had himself one hell of a day.
Yeah, I saw that.
7 receptions, 137. We'll touch on on the 2 Saturday games. So the Chiefs won in a come from behind, basically, 28-24 against the Broncos, which sealed the deal for Vic Fangio.
Yep.
Mahomes did go for 270 and 2 touchdowns. This was not at the fault of Melvin Gordon. 12 carries, 110 yards, and a touchdown. There was
He did have a bad. Wasn't that him that had the bad fumble though?
Yes, a costly one. That's the one that
that got returned to the house.
That got returned to the house for the difference in the score. We touched on it already.
Granted, he got popped, but
Yeah.
and Cowboys.
Cowboys 51-26. This game is not quite. So what was it? 30-17. It was actually 20-30 at one point. Then they ran away with it. And I did not expect, so when I made that call, I didn't know that Dak was going to play. And I definitely did not know that Dak was going to play most of the game.
Yeah.
Because in that case, I wouldn't have made that pick. And that was stupid on me because I picked the better of the two, as in the backup quarterbacks. Gardner Minshew did not have a bad day. But 51 points is hard to overcome, regardless.
And the Eagles pulled a lot of their starters, too.
Yep,
So.
and they did. So that's where we were with this weekend's games. A lot better than what than you guys or Danny suspected that we only had a couple. Seems like we had quite a few, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were some good games.
And it's kind of a sad weekend, though, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like the last burst of...
The last one. There's only a few weekends of football left, and then, we're 8 months or whatever it is without football. So
there is going to be a Monday night playoff game, though. That's interesting this year.
Okay.
That's stupid.
Okay, I'm interested. Why?
So are you guaranteeing them that they play the following Monday so they have the same amount of time off as the other team?
Yeah.
Or the Sunday?
It's a fair argument.
Yeah.
So the other team that plays on a Saturday gets to wait until Sunday and you get extra time? That's horseshit unless you're going to go Monday to Monday then. You might as well do Monday night football for the rest of the week, for the rest of the thing. That isn't fair. It isn't right.
100%.
Yeah, that's fair. I just like more days to watch football. So.
I understand that from a fan's perspective, but you would be pissed if it was like the Vikings on Monday Night Football and you guys had we had a legit shot, and then you get short in time, but the opponent you're about to face gets an extra day. They go the other way. They played Saturday. They don't play until next Sunday with us, but we had to play Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not digging that.
Right.
They do not put player safety in number one.
No, I totally agree.
Which
with
we
that.
all know that.
Yeah.
They do it for the fans purely for that aspect. We get more football, as you so eloquently put it, but they don't do it for the fans all at the same time, like the true fans of the individual teams.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't be a fan of that, unless you guarantee to be Monday to Monday, or Monday to Sunday. And the other team, how do you guarantee the other team did the same thing? You can't guarantee that. So.
Yep. Totally.
Boom.
Yeah.
Let's rock. Well, that wraps up the NFL recap for the week. Who's got the make sense if it don't think about it? Mr. Rio.
Yeah, sure.
Let's go, Rio.
I will go with the one here. This is a story that happens to involve myself again. Crazy. I have a lot of these.
That's a heavy witnessing one, too. Very weird.
So, one weekend we decided to have kind of like a guys trip, and had a guys trip up to Minneapolis.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to a Twins game, and then Sunday we went to the Vikings and Raiders game. Now, I can't remember which night this was. I think it was Saturday night before the baseball game, or the football game.
It
was after the baseball game. And we decided to go out and have a few drinks, right? So, which, mind you, we had already hit this bar, had buckets of beer on the way, so we were feeling pretty good. And we drank there at the game. I think we went to bowling alley.
Yep. Don't remember the game of the bowling.
Right, we were pretty loaded up, right, with alcohol, and just having a nice guys' night out. So then we go back to hotel, and hotels don't give rooms with 3 beds. Right? Have you ever been in one that has 3 beds?
No.
So there's 3 of us and 2 beds.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how it goes is Luke and Jim are kind of bigger guys, right? So then was like, well, I'm going to sleep in one of the different beds. I'm not going to sleep on the floor because, first of all, I'm not a bitch. So I was like, well, whatever. I just climbed into bed with Luke. I'm like, hey man, I'm gonna sleep in this bed tonight. He's like, no, you're not. So side note to that.
Yeah, so
note to that. One time we went out again. This was years prior, and I had to sleep in the same bed with Jimmer. Except this guy Luke, I climbed in bed this night. I climbed into his bed that night, and he's like, no, you're not. And he grabbed me by my neck and my leg and threw me in the other bed. So I was kind of not letting it go either. This
so
was
it's already
happen.
there,
right? It was already kind of planted in my head. I was like, I'm not letting this happen again. Not letting it slide.
I'm not.
It don't matter. We'll cuddle. I don't care. And so I hopped in. He's like, no, get out. And I'm like, no. I'm not sleeping on the floor. He's like, sleep in the bed. I'm like, nah. So a little wrestling match kind of ensued, and somehow he ended up sitting on the floor right next to the bed. But he had me grabbed over the head,
And you were like kind of choking him.
Right,
too.
wouldn't let me go, and I had a hold of him, like kind of choking him.
I'm
And,
recording this whole thing too, and I'm
oh, yeah.
laughing my ass off because it's funny still to this point.
Right,
You.
we're still kind of laughing. He's like, we won't let go of each other, and I'm like, let go. He's like, no. Of course, we're intoxicated. Well, then he starts smacking me in the head. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I can't remember what happened, but he's like, I'm like, stop it, or I'm gonna like choke you out. He's do it, and then he tells me, gouge my eyes out.
Gouge my fucking eyes out.
Yeah,
Then.
he tells me, gouge my fucking eyes out. I go, what? Excuse me? Yes. He tells me to gouge his eyes out. I'm like, I'm not going to do that. So he keeps smacking me in the head, like slapping me. He's like, do it. Gouge my fucking eyes out. And I'm like, what the heck? And I'm like, well, if you keep hitting me, I'm going to have to do it. So he keeps smacking me. He's like, do it. So I go knuckles deep into his eye.
Jesus. Yeah. He loses half of his thumb in the side of this fucking dude's eye.
It goes into his eye.
I'm like, oh my. That's when I stopped recording because I'm sending the snap out. And I'm like, all right, what the hell just happened? This got really.
So that happens, and I don't know. It eventually kind of breaks up, and we go to bed. I think I do end up. He was pretty pissed, so I like got out of that bed and went over into Jimmer's bed and went to sleep.
But he didn't get thrown out of the bed.
I didn't get thrown out of the bed.
Physically picked up out of the bed.
I did not get thrown out of the bed.
There's a win.
You're right. So the next day, he does tell me, hey, man, next time I say put your fingers in my eyes, please don't do it. He's like, because my eyes fucking hurt.
He's like, don't ever let me talk you into just sticking your finger in my eye ever again.
No.
Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
Knuckle deep. I love it.
It was knuckle deep. It was almost it was uncomfortable.
We were feeling really, really good.
Yeah.
Like I said, this shit was funny as shit, and then it wasn't.
It
got serious.
Crazy. It got real
and
serious.
And then he lost. I just watch him start walloping his face. I'm like, oh my god. and then he buried his damn thumb in.
Right. So it makes sense if you don't think about it. Just making, hey man, put this here. Okay.
Okay, dude.
Okay. If you say so.
So if you have somebody that's going to do that, man. Well, words of wisdom. Know who you're telling somebody, to do something, because if they really will, it might hurt you.
Might hurt you. No doubt.
So know who's part of it.
Yeah. Are they guys that actually call the bluff? There you go.
Called the bluff. Stuck the fingers in his eyes. He can still see to this day. I didn't pop it out or nothing.
Okay. Yeah, for those listening, it's the same guy that's sponsoring our Warm Whiskey Wagers.
That is also, Luke of Thug Life Cattle Company.
Thank you Cattle Company.
Thank you for the Warm Whiskey Wagers, which coincidentally, ever since we tasted this whiskey, there's been a whole lot less wagers been thrown down. We got to get this down, boys, before it gets really hot out here.
No doubt.
Oh, my gosh, it's going to be so bad.
I'm taking one anyways before I put my bare ass in the snow.
There you go. There you go.
Need to warm up.
So shout out to Luke and shout out to Jimmer for recording the whole time while the shit's going down.
Yeah. Oh no, I did, and then I stopped when it started getting that.
It started getting testy.
So I have him smacking him a few times, and then I had the gouge out my. I'm pretty sure you'll have to ask him. I'm pretty. Some of the people I sent it to, gouge out my fucking eyes. Then stick your finger. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like,
I was
and
like,
he's
what?
like, all right, and he kept going. I'm like, all right, this is getting serious. So I stopped at that point. I'm like, yo, let's. It didn't stop.
It didn't
stop. Let go. Well, he didn't let go of me, and then he was pretty adamant. He wanted fingers in the eyes, so I gave him what he wanted.
I mean, that sounds like a good friend.
I am just being a good person at this point.
He definitely rounded third base with his eyeballs.
Damn.
Dude, yes.
Yeah.
Jeez. That's intense. At least he can see.
At least he can see, yeah. I was glad. But he, like I said, the next morning he's like, if I ever say that again, don't.
Please
no
don't.
Kidding.
Please do not.
Please, Sammy.
Shit.
Yeah.
Well, right on. I think that about wraps it up tonight on this. I think, speaking of that, today I think we got up to what, 20 degrees?
Yeah. Hey, later this week it'll be up in the 40s.
Ooh,
did it really?
40.
For a couple days.
Yesterday it was in the 20s.
So,
I don't know if it hit that high today. The
know.
wind died.
I don't know.
That was a huge difference.
Yeah, that
I was in a
helped for
gym
sure.
most of the day, so.
By the way, shout out to Orion, right?
Yeah. We got another win. He really had a battle. He got down, ended up coming back, putting the kid on his back a few times, and getting out.
Hell yeah, took home third, right?
Got third place.
He didn't piss on a dude's back, right?
He did not piss on a motherfucker's back.
Not this time.
Well, we had a little parenting warm session in the basketball tournament. We almost had, I got chippy. Then my son, who's one hell of a monster of a kid,
man, you ain't playing
always started
right.
going there.
You gotta be throwing bows in the paint.
He got a little chippy.
Euro stepping, just swinging, and bad boys.
Some hard checks started coming.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Take advantage of those calls. Fuck it. Put them on the back.
Right.
Yeah. GHV Mac Club, second place as a team.
Hell yeah.
So
Yeah.
Let's
not
go.
a bad day.
Not a bad day at all. Well, hey, guys, thanks for listening. Be sure to check out the podcast. That's available where, Jimmer?
Everywhere there's podcasts, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. Spotify, Apple, Facebook, YouTube. Camera back up and going. Oh, it's not?
No.
No,
Yeah.
jeez.
Still a little
Yeah.
problem with our camera imaging.
Yeah, it
there is.
keeps disconnecting. I don't know why.
We'll get something figured out here shortly.
I wonder if that cord's acting up.
It could be. Yeah.
Especially down here. Someone thinks it's pulling on it, probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll see. But either way, so still YouTube, just without image.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And like we said, definitely interact. Give us some shit. Give us some stories. It all goes down.
It goes down in the DMs, folks.
Yeah.
Shoot us a message. If you gotta make sense if you don't think about it, you've got some words of wisdom, anything like that, let us know. And we'll get it out to share to everybody else. Have a good laugh.
We will.
That's right, baby. And ladies and gentlemen, we are now entering the NFL playoffs. Hope you're as excited as we are. This is 3 Gig Sports.
We out.
From nothing, no hindsight discussions. I've been writing, I love it.
All this doubt around me, them